Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're gonna be working on this vest here. It's a little bit of a crop top vest. So this is what I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do. Very simple. We're only using a double crochet stitch here and a single crochet in the back loop, and that's pretty much the two stitches we're gonna be using to make this here. Okay, so let me go ahead and take you guys to the work table and show you the materials we're gonna be using, and so we can go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so before we get started I'm going to show you all the materials you would need for this project. For the yarn, I'm using this yarn here, Azurite 100% acrylic. For those of you, by the way, who watch my channel, I use this yarn a lot now because it's just the only one that I can get where I am, unless I buy them online, and I'm not really a big fan of buying things online. So I've just been using this brand because it's the only brand this store that I live next to has. So that's it here. So Azurite 100% acrylic, lightweight number 3. It's a blue color. This color here though goes by 30-40. And recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, and this skein here is 50 grams or 140 meters. And yeah, so this is what we're gonna be using here. I always use a bigger crochet hook size for most things that are wearables, especially pants, shorts, whatever it is, just because I like my work to be nice and loose, so, and also have a good tension so I can actually control the tension very well. So I'm using a 5 millimeter crochet hook, which is an H8 US. I have my scissors here to cut my strands. I have a darning needle to join our panels, some stitch markers if you need them, and as well a tape measure to determine our size. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so with this project we need to be able to determine our size before we start. So we're gonna try to use a tape measure either for you or the person you're making these for, and you're going to I use inches. So we're going to put our tape measure around our waist, just a little bit above, I would say a little bit above our belly button, because this vest is going to be a little bit shorter than, you know, longer. And then we just put these around that part of our body, and mine comes up to about 32 inches. So I'm going to do half of this 32. So I need to get to about how many is this? I need to get to 16 inches. Okay, so, and this is going to be 16 inches when you stretch it a little bit, but leave a little bit of a working space. So what I will do is I will do about 13 inches, and then when I stretch it, it gets to the 16. It actually goes above 16 because of the stitch that we're using for this. Okay, so I will show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to start by doing a slip knot, and then we're going to do a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's our band for the bottom part of our vest. We're going to skip the first stitch right here, and in the second we're going to do a single crochet, and that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch that we skip. Okay, it's just our turning chain. And then in the back of your chains you're going to do a single crochet all the way to the end. Okay, so very simple. Again, a stitch that I use a lot for the bands of my clothings. So just go ahead and do this all the way to the end. Your band here is going to be up to you how wide you want it to be or how narrow you want it to be. So if you want it to be wide, do more chains. If you want it to be a little bit smaller, do less chains. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and complete my single crochets to the end here. Okay, so I am just doing my final single crochet there, and that's how my first row looks like. And so like this is what I was talking about when I said the width of your band, because this is gonna go like this on your body. So this is gonna be the width of your the bottom part of your vest. Okay, so we're gonna chain 1 and turn. Again, your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And then you're gonna go into the back of the very next stitch and go and do a single crochet, and then go in the back of the next stitch, complete a single crochet, and then in the back of the next stitch. And again we do this all the way. And again, for those of you who know, I go through the both loops at the end as opposed to just the back loop. Okay, just a preference. You don't have to do it like that. You could just do the band however you think is something that looks nice for you, looks better than this if it is possible. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go all the way, and as I just said, for the final one I go through both loops like that, just like that. Okay, so that's row 2 completed, and this is pretty much what you repeat. Row 2 is your repeat row until you have what you need. Okay, so I'm going to work this until I have approximately about 13 inches unstretched, and then when I stretch it, it will get me to beyond the 16 inches that I need for half of the circumference of my waist. Okay, so go ahead and do this. I will do about 50. I think it will come up to about 50 rows that I will do, and when I have that, I'm gonna come back to the video and I'll come and show you how to start the next part of the project. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, I've gone ahead and completed 50 rows for half of my vest. Okay, so the first panel, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. This is very stretchy, so before stretching it, I'm going to show you what that comes up to, and it will be different for everybody depending on your size. So everything that I do is measure to fit. Okay, so where is that? There we go. So if I place that here and I go all the way, it's about exactly 13 inches. Okay, so, and as you can see, if I hold this end like this and I just kind of pull it this way, and I will stretch it to see, so you guys see how wide it stretches. So look, goes up to about 20, so it's very stretchy, and the reason we want it to be less than the half of the circumference is because of the stretch. So we get a lot of the increase of size because of the stretch, and also the comfortability of it. When you put your vest on, you don't want it to be 13 inches and it's really tight and you can barely get it on. You want it to stretch enough, and then also for your bust area, you want it to be able to fit there as well. Okay, so I have my 50 rows here. We're gonna start in the next row, and it's gonna be, now we're working upwards like this because this is the bottom of your vest like this, and then we work this panel upwards like that. So I'm gonna show you how to start a few rows, 1 or 2 rows, and then it's a repeat for a couple of rows. So I'm gonna show you quickly how we do that part. Okay, so I just go ahead and pick up my yarn where I left off here. As you can see, I didn't do a chain of anything, but I'm gonna do a chain of 2 because we're gonna start to work with double crochets. This chain 2 counts as a double crochet and is connected to this row of your work right here. So the next row that you need to work into is this one here. So you're gonna go right on top of that and complete a double crochet. Okay, and then you're gonna work into the valley area here and complete a double crochet. And then on top of this, you're gonna go ahead and complete a double crochet. And then on top of, in the bottom here, you go and complete a double crochet. So I will just quickly talk to you about how we're doing this. So as you see, our bumps and valleys here actually count as 2 rows. So as you can see, the first one, this side here is 1 row, and then the opposite side is 1 row. This side here is 1 row, this side is 1 row. So we just want to make sure we do our stitches to match up with the number of rows, which means at the end you should have 50 stitches altogether. Okay, because we had 50 rows, you should have 50 stitches because we are lining them up based on each row. So you just go ahead and complete your double crochets all the way to the end, and you can verify by counting how many stitches you have. And if you have 1 off or 1 less, don't worry about it. That's literally not going to make a big difference at all, as long as when you do your second panel, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make sure you do the same thing. Okay, so go ahead and work your double crochets like this all the way to the end here. When you get to here, come back to the video and I'll show you how to start a second row, which is going to be a repeat row of the remaining of the part, this part. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my first row here of double crochets. So as you can see, this is how it looks like. So I just counted my stitches and I have 50 all together here. So this is where I did my last one. But as you guys can see, I don't like that this knob is kind of sticking out like this. Okay, and as you can see on this side, it lines up really well because of the stitch being at the very end here. So we did a chain 2 and it brings it right into the edge of it like this. But on this side, it leaves this kind of gap like this. I don't like that. Okay, so what I do usually to fix that is I just add another stitch here. And this would only be if I don't care to how many stitches I have here. Okay, if it's not going to make a big difference if it's 51 instead of 50 or 52 instead of 53, I am okay with that. Okay, so altogether here then I end up with 51 stitches because of having to correct this here. So as you can see now we have it straight. So in other words, this final stitch here has kind of in a way has 3 stitches, because it has this one that goes with this row here, and then it has this one that goes with this, but then we have to fix that impurity or imperfection at the end here to make it so that it also goes straight like this. Okay, but that doesn't matter for this. So we have 51 stitches. So I'm going to start row 2 by doing a chain of 2 and turning, and then this counts as a stitch which goes with this stitch right here. So in the next stitch right here, I'm going to go in and complete a double crochet, and then I'm going to go and complete a double crochet in every single stitch all the way to the end. And again, we are working with 51 stitches, so you're gonna have 51 stitches all along from this point to the next point where we're gonna need to create a different pattern to be able to just have our vest fitting the way it's supposed to. But for now, obviously we're gonna work these double crochets, and I will just explain to you when you think you should stop. Just make sure when you come to this end here that you complete your final double crochet on top of this chain 2 that we began the row with. So you're gonna do a double crochet right here. So one last one is here, or the second last one goes here, and then the last one goes right here. Okay, and it's gonna keep your work straight on both sides, and you're gonna repeat that on the other side as well. Okay, so I'm gonna do this until, so how we gonna determine when to stop or when to finish this part is you're gonna take your vest, you're gonna decide how long you want it to go down your body, your torso. Okay, do you want it to go down from your belly button? Do you want it to go down from your just before or below your belly button? How long do you want it to go like this? Okay, and you're gonna do this until it comes to your under your armpit. Okay, so now I'm talking about armpit because we're gonna need to start to create this section for our armpit that's gonna have a little bit of a gap for our hand to come through. Okay, so you're gonna measure from, let's say for example for me, I will measure from where I want it to where my waist is. It's about 10 inches, or where my armpit is, underneath my armpit. It comes up to about 10 inches, okay? And this is including the waistband. So you have to make sure you're actually adding the inches of the waistband as well. And then you're gonna do the number of rows that correspond to this number of inches. And when you have that, then come back to the video and I will show you what to do next, okay? So go ahead and do that, and I will see you guys in a bit. Again, just doing double crochets, turning, doing chain 2, turning, and then repeating that pattern until you have the inches that you need. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed 14 rows of the double crochet here. I'm gonna quickly talk about a change that I completed. So initially I wanted my vest to go below my belly button. And so the 10 inches that I told you earlier was so that if it was coming from below my belly button all the way to my armpit, which I did say was gonna be 10 inches, okay? So, and as you can see here, I have rather 8 inches of this. And the reason for that is because I have decided I want it to go above my belly button, because I'm going to do shorts that match this, that are going to be high-waisted shorts. So therefore, I don't want this to overlap too much with my vest, okay? So instead of doing this going below my belly button up to my armpit, I decided to do it above my belly button up to my armpit. And so I have my 8 inches here, including the band, okay? So that is a correction I made personally as my preference, but of course you're gonna do it however you want that to go, okay? So again, with my 8 inches completed here, I'm going to cut these off. So I'm just gonna grab my scissors and I'm just gonna cut it somewhere off here, okay? I'm gonna do a chain 1 and lock it up like that, okay? Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna reduce it a little bit on each side here to now create the part that goes underneath our armpit and then build up our vest. So we're gonna do something like this. Okay, so now that I have cut that off, so the next row we would have done is to go this way. So I'm gonna connect my yarn this way. But what I will do first is I'm gonna mark out how many. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the sixth, I'm gonna put a stitch marker. And why am I getting this space here? It's just gonna be the space that I want to be the gap that goes from underneath my armpit. And this is, keep in mind, the first panel. The second panel is gonna have something exactly the same. So we will actually end up with this amount of space here twice, because the back panel is gonna have the same. And I'm putting it in the sixth stitch because I'm not gonna be working into these 5 this way. I'm gonna count on this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in that sixth stitch, I'm gonna put a stitch marker there as well. Actually, what I will do is I'll put it on the fifth, because the fifth stitch is what I don't work into, but I work on from the sixth onwards. The same thing on this side. So I'll just take that off quickly and put that on the, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the fifth, because that's the one I don't work into. Okay, like that. So we're gonna put it down like this. I'm gonna prepare my yarn to go in, and then we're gonna do a couple of rows that will take us from here up to our collarbone, okay? Because we're gonna now work the upper part of our vest. So I'm gonna just do a slip stitch here to be able to go into that, and I'm gonna go into this sixth stitch, bring my loop back in, okay? And then I'm gonna chain one more to make it a chain 2. So I just chained 1 to lock it in, and then I did a chain 1, another chain to make it chain 2. So that does count as a double crochet again. And then we just go into the next stitch from there, and we're gonna go ahead and just continue to work our double crochets, okay? So we're gonna keep going and going and going all the way to just before the stitch marker. We're gonna do our last double crochet there, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a chain 2 and turn and repeat. Okay, but for now, let me take you to the stitch marker, and then I will show you how to complete this row, turn around and come back this way. And I'll do maybe that row like this, one more like this, to show you how to go on top of this on this side here, okay? But for now, let's meet after you complete a stitch right before the stitch marker. Okay, my lovelies, so I have reached the stitch right before the stitch marker here. So that's where we stop. We don't go any further. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the next row by doing a chain of 2 and turning. And by this point, you can just remove your stitch markers. You don't need them at this point anymore. And then you just go into the next stitch, because your chain 2 counts as a double crochet. You're gonna go right into the next stitch and complete your next double crochet. And then you're gonna go ahead and do this all the way to the end of this row. And I'm going to show you quickly how to complete this row at the end, just to show you guys how to work on top of the chain 2 that we created to start the row. And then I'm gonna have you guys repeat this for a couple of rows, because now we're creating the part that goes above our bust all the way to just below our collarbone, because we're gonna be doing the arms as well, because we need to be able to make sure it goes over our arm and connect to the other panel on the other side, which is the back or the front in this case, because you're doing 2 equal panels. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and work all the way to the second last stitch right here, so right here, and then I'll show you guys how to work into that final stitch, which is the chain 2 from the beginning of the previous row. I'll see you guys when you get here. Okay, my lovely, so I have worked my second double crochet here. So from this end, we are now on this side. So as you can see, I completed my final double crochet here, not final, second last, on top of that double crochet. But we do have the chain 2 that we created that we need to work into. So what I do here to keep my edges straight like this, I actually go into the first double crochet, or the first chain of that double crochet, and complete a double crochet like that. And what this does for me is it makes it straight as opposed to a little bit crooked, okay? And then I'm gonna chain 2, and I'm gonna flip my work, and then continue to do my double crochets pretty much until I have the length that I need to get to my on my collarbone. Let's say this part is gonna touch it just right on your collarbone, okay? So you're gonna continue to work this until that length is established, whatever that is for you. For me, I will keep putting it against my body until I see that it fits space. And then when I have that length, I'm gonna come back to you guys to show you how to move on and do the next thing. Okay, so go ahead and work. And again, keep in mind, you're putting this against your body, and then you're seeing where it goes. So for me, this part here will touch just above my belly button, so my belly button will be right here, and then this is gonna go all the way up to this part touching just my collarbone. When I have that, I'm gonna come back to the video to show you guys how we will create the arms. Okay, so I will see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the number of rows that I need here. So I did 10 rows all together here, and as you can see, this is more what I want here, just a space where my arm is gonna go through is this here. So these 10 rows here, and we're gonna do a little bit of the arm here as well. That is enough for me. Okay, so this is it. I also measured from here to here, and it's about 12 inches, and that 12 inches take me just right to my neckline, or my neck bones, I think is what you call it. Like collarbones, and that's what I want, that's what I need, that's the length. So I'm gonna leave it at this. So this is what I have. So I did 14 rows for this section here, and I did 10 rows for this section. So I have 24 rows altogether from the band to the top. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna build just a little bit of the shoulder here, so that we have this section here that connects to this side, and then we have our neckline right in the middle here. So I'm gonna do a chain of 2 as per usual, turn. Now how many stitches in you're gonna do is gonna be up to you, and how wide or narrow you want your neckline to be. So I'm gonna do probably 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I'm probably gonna do 8 on each side. That way it leaves me just with this area here as my neckline, which is good. Okay, so I'm gonna do 8 on this side. So I'm gonna go in, my chain 2 being the first stitch, and then I'm gonna go and do 7 more. So 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. Okay, so I think that's enough here, and then I'm going to do a chain 2 and turn, and then I'm going to work another row this way. So your chain 2 always counts as a stitch, and so by the time that you finish this row, you should have 8 stitches altogether, including the chain 2. Okay, and again, remember, for this final stitch here, I just go and grab the bottom of the chain 2. So I put my stitch in the bottom stitch. Okay, chain 2 again. Yeah, so right now I have 2 rows, and that's how it looks. I think a little bit more, so let's do 1 more row and see. And then and keep in mind, whatever you do here, you double up, because the back panel is going to be the exact same way. So you're going to end up having these number of rows here adding up to the back side to give you the arm or the shoulder part. Okay, and then we go here. Oops. Voila. Okay, so that's 3. I think 3 is enough. You see, like this. I think 3 is enough. So I'm gonna cut my string, but I'm gonna cut it, let's say, just enough so that I have enough to sew this section here with the back, like that. Pull. Okay, so this side is done. So we're gonna take this yarn and connect it on the other side. And because we were continuing with this row like this, we're actually gonna start from the 8th and work ourselves that way, so that we keep the consistency of the pattern for this, so that we're not doing the stitches going the same direction again. So I'm gonna do a slip stitch, or slip knot, I should say, like this. and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So in this 8th stitch I'm going to put my yarn there, bring it through 1 2, so my chain 2 counts as a stitch, and then complete the other 7 stitches. Okay, so again, I'm not going to finish this on camera with you guys. Go ahead and finish this number of rows here. So because we did 3 here, do 3 here. So if you did 4, do 4. If you did 2, whatever, you just have to match it up, okay? And this is just the part that goes over our shoulder. So it's going to be up to you how low, because also the more of these rows you do, the more the neckline drops on your in the front and the back as well. So I do 4 because I don't want it to drop too much. And also remember, we're going to do a ribbing on the neckline. So don't make it too high, because then you're not going to have too much space to do the ribbing, because then it's just going to look like a turtleneck if it's too high, okay? And we don't want that to be the case. So I'm just going to finish this here off camera, and then I'm going to come back so we can look at our work, and then we can go ahead and get started with our second panel. See you guys in a minute. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed this first panel for our vest. And as you can see, I ended up just kind of forgetting. I cut this too short here, but it's okay. We can just have yarn that we can use to join it. But yeah, this is pretty much how the first panel looks like. So this is half, and then we need to duplicate this exactly the same to get the second one. And when we have the 2, we will be able to join them together. So at this point, either rewind the video to the beginning to see how to start the second panel, or if you remember, just go ahead and duplicate and get one exactly the same. When you have the 2, come back to the video and I will show you how to join our 2 panels and how to do the ribbing for the sleeves here and the neckline. Okay, so I'll see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my second panel here. So this is the one that we did together, and then this is the one that I just completed as well now. Yeah, so we just did something exactly the same. So we have exactly duplicate pieces here. So we're gonna go ahead and do the joining. So we're gonna join the top here fully, and then we're gonna join the sides here as well, okay? For this, I'm not gonna show you guys how to join it, because you just have to get your darning needle. So at the beginning I told you guys to have a darning needle. You're just gonna insert this yarn right here. For example, this is gonna go here, and then you're just gonna join it across here like this. The stitches should match up. You should have 8 stitches to match up here, and you should have 8 stitches to match up on this side. And then you will take a piece of yarn and then also join the edges here. So keep in mind for these, there's no particular stitches here. Look at my other work on the channel that I have shown you guys how to just join these, and you just kind of follow a little bit of a pattern here to go all the way down. But also for joining, you can use whatever technique that you prefer or usually like. And then when you have joined everything here, come back and I will show you guys how to start the ribbing for this section here. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined my work. So as you can see, I did the joining here as well as on the other side, and then of course the top here. Okay, so as my work sits right now, this is gonna be the inside of our vest. So I'm just gonna flip it like this so that we have the right side facing outwards. Okay, now that we have it like this, we're gonna work on the armholes here and then the neckline, just to create a ribbing for that, so that it has a nice finish like the bottom here as well. And to do that, I'm just going to start on any of these sides of the sleeves. I'm gonna start by going into the area here and working my ribbing. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do a few rows, and then I will have you guys complete that, and then we'll do the same for the neckline, the other side, and the neckline as well. So I'm just gonna start by doing a slip knot here to be able to have my yarn, working yarn going. And as you can see here, this is where we joined here. So very next to it, there's a stitch. I'm gonna put my hook there and bring that through. And then this is when you determine how wide you want your ribbing for here to be. You can do it at, I don't know, however many inches, like 2-3 inches, maybe around 2-ish. So I'm gonna start by doing a chain of, let's say 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm just gonna pivot my work a little bit like this. I'm gonna skip this 6th stitch here, but in the 5th going backwards, I'm going to complete a single crochet because we want to do something like this, but for the armholes and the neckline. So I'm gonna do a single crochet here, and then in the next stitch, I'm gonna go in there and do a single crochet. And then in the next stitch, I'm gonna go in and do a single crochet. Okay, and then we just do the single crochets pretty much all the way, and make sure you have 5 stitches here because we skipped the first. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as soon as you have hit your 5, you're gonna go into the next stitch, which is right here, and do a slip stitch like that. Oops, like that. And then you're gonna slip stitch on the next stitch as well, like this. Okay, so that's your first row for the ribbing part here. And then you're going to do a chain of 1 and turn. And then you're going to not work into the chain, the slip stitches that you did here. You're going to go right into the first single crochet and complete your single crochet in the back loop, and then go into the back loop of the next stitch and complete a single crochet, and then the back loop on the next stitch and complete a single crochet. And then you do it making sure you have 5 single crochets here all together. Okay, so this is my final stitch. Just like I did the bottom part, I'm going to go through both loops for that 5th stitch like this. Then I'm gonna chain 1 and turn, and then now I'm gonna do my 3rd row for the single crochets in the back loop. So I'm gonna go here and complete a single crochet, and then do a single crochet. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then and then I'm going to do my slip stitches in the next 2 stitches. So as you can see, this work went into here, so this is the next stitch. I'm going to do a slip stitch on, and then in the next stitch I'm going to do a slip stitch, chain 1, turn, and then I'm just going to repeat that, okay, all around here. So let's do one more row together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you want to make sure you don't go into the slip stitches, that you only go into the single crochets to complete your single crochets in the back loop. Okay, because if you do go into the slip stitches, you're gonna end up having more for the next row, and you don't want that. You want them to look like that. Okay, and then now that we have reached here, this is where we did our last. It's a little bit tricky to work like this. You have your last slip stitch here, so you're gonna go right into this gap here and do your next. Nope, not yet. We're gonna go and do our single crochets going back down. We don't want to do the slip stitch from the top like that. So I'm gonna make sure I count down my 5 single crochets here, and then I will slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, and then 5 is this one here. If I can grab it in the back, let me get that. We're gonna go here, single crochet, single crochet, not slip stitch here, and single crochet, and then we're gonna slip stitch in this stitch here. And then now we don't have stitches anymore, so we just go into this gap here and do a slip stitch, and then chain 1, turn, and go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So go into the 5th from the bottom, complete a back loop single crochet. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. For this one we go through both, chain 1, and then work your single crochets going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then slip stitch. Now this is where it's a little bit tricky because we don't have stitches, but we have these double crochet rows like this. So what I will do, just to make it easy, is I will go into that gap and do my slip stitch there, and then I will go into this middle section that connects the two double crochets and do another slip stitch there. Then I'm going to chain one and turn. Okay, and then we just continue to do this all around. Okay, and you have to make sure you have your 5 stitches here, and I just do it all around until I come back to the bottom where we just started off here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and have you guys do that as well, and then when you have completed this section down here, so if I put it down like this, this is pretty much how it's gonna go, and it's gonna come all the way and connect it back to where we just started it here. And that's gonna be part of your of the armhole, and we're going to do the same on the other. But I'm going to complete this and I'm going to come back to show you guys how it looks like, and then we also need to do the same for the neckline here. But let's go ahead and finish one side first, and then I'll see you guys back in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked the ribbing around here. So as you can see, this is where we started right here, and we just worked ourselves around to here. So as you can see, I have 2 stitches to go. I have this stitch here and that stitch here. So those are the stitches I'm gonna slip stitch into. Okay, so I'm just gonna, after I did my single crochets here, I'm gonna go right into that stitch and do a slip stitch, and then I'm gonna go right into this stitch and do a slip stitch. Okay, and then I'm gonna chain 1 and turn, and then we're gonna do one more row here. So I'm just gonna go back to that stitch and complete a back loop single crochet, and then here, there. Okay, and then at this point we will finish. We just need to join these 2 sides. Okay, so that finishes there. Now we have to join these 2 sides like this. So what I will do is I will cut some of this yarn off somewhere here, and then I will do a slip stitch and lock it in like this. Okay, so now all I have to do is just join this here with a darning needle. So I'm gonna grab my darning needle and put that yarn in the darning needle hole like that, and then I'm just gonna join here. So I'm gonna go into this first stitch here like this. I'm gonna go through both loops just to secure this fully here. I'm gonna go into it twice like that, and then for the rest of it here, I'm just gonna grab this loop and that loop, go through it, this loop and that loop, oops, and go through that just like this. And then for the final one here, I'm just gonna go somewhere here, bring that loop around, pull. Let's do it one more time like that. Finished, and then we're just gonna remove our darning needle. Okay, so this kind of joins this section here like that. So we're gonna weave this in later. Okay, so if I put my vest down, this is what I have here. Okay, something like that. So we're gonna repeat this thing right here, and we're gonna do the same thing for the neckline. So I'm not gonna come back to show you how to do the neckline and how to do this side, because it's exactly the same thing. I will probably do the neckline a little bit different here, in the sense that instead of doing a chain 6 to start this, I will probably do a chain of 5, so that I work with 4 stitches so that it's not too high. I would like for my vest not to look like it has a turtleneck. Okay, so I will do something that kind of lines up with the amount of stitches that we have here. So go ahead and complete this, do the neckline, and then when you come back, we should be able to have everything completed like this. The other thing that you should do is count these stitches here, all the rows, not stitches but rows. Count all the rows that you have done on this first side and make sure it kind of equalizes it with the other side. okay, which means then you have to be careful where you're going, not to either double too much on one or not to do too many gappy spaces, because then it's gonna make one side kind of shrink too much and or too wide if you do too many rows compared to the other. So whatever number of rows you have on one side, make sure you match it with the other. Okay, so just do this side, do the neckline, and then come back when you've completed that. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the other two parts that we had to do this ribbing on. We did complete this side together here, and I went ahead and did this one offline, and of course the neckline, as you can see, the neckline is done as well. The reason why I didn't show you guys how to do the neckline is it's literally the same thing. You just do it around the neckline here. Okay, so this is pretty much how our vest looks like. It is done. Okay, and it's the type of vest that you can wear either way. This can either be your front side or the back side. It's not gonna make much of a difference because we made the two panels to be exactly the same. Okay, but this is pretty much it here. I hope you guys enjoyed doing but this is pretty much it here. I hope you guys enjoyed making this one with me. Like I said, I will be making a skirt or shorts. I think shorts is gonna be better. Yeah, I will be making shorts to go with this here. So I will obviously show you guys how to do that. Very simple shorts using the same stitch here, but it will just be something that will go along with this vest here. Okay, well, I will stop the video here. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching it from the beginning to the end, from the beginning to the end. And please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.